Splash. All right, Kenman here. And today's unboxing has some firsts for the channel. What are they? What will we discuss? What will we see? Let's find out. Before we start, I purchased this at retail price. I do this because I love discussing knives and sharing info and ideas with others. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to comment down below. What was I saying now? Am I crazy? Yes. Well, this company is a new company, and there is a feature on said knife that we have also not checked out. So, a couple of exciting new things here. Let's get into it. All right. Feels... yeah, we're going to just do one of these. Pretty weak sauce today. And any guesses? What is it? Boom. Boom. Ketuo. Bag on the floor. Ketuo knives. Who has one of these? I am excited to check this out. You probably know what it is. Knife handle material. All right, let's go. Boom. Our first experience with a Ketuo here on the channel. Get ourselves a nice cloth. It's got that embroidered logo on there. Very nice. Here is the knife in a cool little foam cutout insert on the box. And let's go. Today we are looking at the Ketuo Ventr mini bag on the floor. All right, the Ventr. There we are. Check it out. They have a couple of colors. They got the orange and the black. I've obviously went for the orange. Which one do we do first? Okay, there it is. So the Ventr, there's the thumb out. As you can see, is a button lock. Flicks out. Oops, I had my finger on the button there. We'll watch out for that in a little bit. Look at how much that button sticks out, quite a bit. So let's see. What are we looking at here? Let's slow down, slow our roll. Back it up. Start fresh here. We've got the Ketuo Ventr. It has a 14C28N blade with a really interesting kind of shape. There's some oil on there. I'm going to kind of give that a quick wipe. But you've got a crazy kind of mad Tonto point. Kind of a sheep's foot / Tonto mix. Crazy shape on that blade. Really cool. But yeah, so we got the 14C28N, and then we have these G10 scales. Really nice texture across there with the diamond pattern, and then it has these kind of jimps almost, so it's contoured kind of chamfered edges, and then it's got those extra side jimps for a nice grip, really nice feel. Ooh, okay. So like I was saying, is obviously there is the button lock right there. So you got that button, you push that button and it drops, or you can push it to swing the blade out, swing it closed. Then you can flicker out, swing it shut. But that is not just a button lock. It is also a liner lock. So if we see when I push this button, it also makes that liner lock in there move. So I can pretend that button is not there, and I can go in and treat this just like a standard liner lock. Flick it out, go in there with the thumb, liner lock, drop shut, or button lock. So this is what they call a Lutton? Oh, a Lutton binder lock. A liner / button combo lock. So you have the option. You can use the button, you can use the liner, you can use both. I mean, I don't know if you can use them both at the same time. Comment below. Maybe you can. Very interesting. I don't know if that can be a front flipper. No, it is very smooth and it's not high enough basically to be a front flipper. From where the pivot is, you kind of have to have that more up here so that you can get that swing around. It's not really designed for that. I did notice though where that button is, so as a lefty to go to flick out, my index finger does kind of sit right on that spot. It's stuck that time, but you saw that first one that I opened. It does kind of sit in an area where I have to pay attention and make sure I don't push that button down with my index finger as I'm opening it. Thumbs out pretty good. Button lock. That button swings really nice. That liner lock works great. Man, oh, see, there we go. There I was pushing it as it opened and didn't quite click fully open. Something to consider for lefties. It's the placement of the button and then how much it sticks out. This one does stick out quite a bit, so that means when you're it's a little bit lower, but then when you're opening it, you can see it pops out. And so when it pops out, if your finger is over that and it doesn't have a chance to completely pop out, now you're sitting in this kind of a danger zone where it might not have opened and could potentially accidentally close on you. So something to think about. Not fail, really. Just you definitely have to pay attention to that. There is no forward grip. So there is a nice little pop that your hand rests up into. So when I do that with my left hand and squeeze, you can see where that button is. I'm not really able to get my hand to a point where it's pinching that. I'd have to kind of grab it up here, and that's definitely a weird kind of an awkward grab you would never really do. So holding this in my left hand, I'm not going to accidentally push that button to disengage it. Righty, same kind of thing. Where it is, if I kind of try to bring my finger up, that's kind of an awkward position to be in. So I'm not really engaging that button by giving it that power grip, since there is no, if there was a forward choil, that would be something where then it might be pushing into my palm a little, but it is not, so that's good. Like I said, I've never had a Ketuo, so this is kind of new for me. I like 14C28N. I like liner locks. I like button locks. Okay, so it looks like it says Ventr, the model name right inside there, and then Ketuo 14C28 in there, which is interesting. So you can see it when it's closed, boom, boom. But then when that's open, that hides down inside that handle. Huh. I look forward to kind of carrying this around and checking it out. There is no pocket clip. So the clip cannot be swapped or anything for lefties or righties, but also in that case, that means since there isn't one, it works both ways. There is no, oh, I'm not able to swap it. It is exactly how it is, either direction. The liner lock is obviously righty standard liner lock. The button is on the right side, but I find that button locks are great for lefties, which I am. So that works good. And then a liner lock. I'm used to liner locks. I have a couple lefty knives, or knives that are designed to be lefty liner locks, so you'd be pushing it this way instead of that way. But I am able to use this knife pretty easily. Thumb is a little awkward since I have a larger hand. I'm able to do it no problem, but I generally would not do that if I can go in and flick it out like that. This feels nice. Okay, let's get back to it here. What am I doing? Centering. Blade is centered right in the middle of that handle nicely. Lock up is solid. No movement. No play there. That is great. We enjoy these unboxings. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. So there are some jimps. Got a nice little stack of thicker jimps. They're kind of subtle. They're smooth. The satin blade, it kind of has feels like it's got just a satiny feel. But when you get in there, they've got a nice little amount of grab. Feels all right. I like it. You know, I like some jimps. They could be a little bit deeper, a little bit more pronounced, but I don't mind. It is all right. Let's check the detent. So this is a liner lock and a button lock. So it's not a plunge button lock. It is actually the button. You can see the liner inside there. So when I squeeze the button, it is basically just pushing the liner lock. So essentially this is a liner lock that also can be engaged by the button. So there should be a detent like a normal liner lock would have. So you can see as this comes down, pulls in, you can see the button kind of pops out. It's got a strong pull right there at the end. So it's not something you're really able to, yeah, I can get in there and kind of get it to talk. Hey now, how are you doing today? But it is strong enough that it doesn't feel like it's wanting to, you have to get, I'm able to get her out, and then once it's out, moving it around really isn't that much. It's when it's in there, you actually have to kind of push to get her out, and it will kind of flick out. So it holds it in there pretty good. I've had some knives that definitely are really easy and kind of a loosey-goosey. They slide out simple. This holds in there pretty tight. So huge lanyard hole. So without a pocket clip, I would assume this would be a drop in the pocket. So this would be a good option for a lanyard. Edyards, 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 Edyards. Ooh, there's an extra little logo right there. BSD. Could be a maker mark. But yeah, so comment, should I put a big old lanyard on here, or a small one, or one with a bead or something? I have a few. I have one in mind I think might look really good. Watch for that in the future. Close-ups. Let's everyone think about the style of this knife. It's interesting. The blade shape is kind of strange. Handle's fairly standard, but it kind of drops this way at the end and kind of swoops up that way on the other end. I don't know, I dig it. It feels nice. It's a little bit smaller of a knife, so a little more compact. Would be a good user maybe. Wasn't too expensive, so this one would be one for maybe a daily carry, kind of a beater knife. All right, so nice close up on there, kind of see that texture. Nice kind of finish on the blade. Really simple looking design with all the bannering and stuff kind of hidden in there when it's closed. That action does swing out really good. And that flick out is satisfying. I like it. Pretty happy. All right, let's zoom in, get some credentials on this thing. Okay, we are definitely not full size. This is a smaller, a little more compact, under 7 inches. 6 7/8 tip to tip. Blade is, someone could really lie and call it 3 inches, but it would be incorrect. But if they're measuring from there to there, you know, they could kind of get away with it almost. But realistically, I'd say that blade's about 2 3/4 at most. And the cutting surface is just over 2 3/4 with kind of a straight part here and a straight part there. Handle would be 3 5/8 without this big lanyard kind of butt stop, maybe smasher piece, but with that it is 4 1/4. Still a small knife. That does help though, and putting a lanyard on there might make this a little bit bigger of a size. Okay, thickness on this blade, 11 maybe. Yep, we're looking at about 11. Pretty standard for this kind of a size of a knife. The 11 carries all the way out to there. You can see that thickness doesn't really taper till here, and then you can see that last little bit. So they keep it nice and solid. That's going to be a thick cutter. Might be a little more difficult for sharpening with this dual kind of edge. All right, 5, about 1/2 inch for the handle. That's fairly standard, good size to hold, to feel. All right, so let's back up a little bit. We'll get some weights. I've been forgetting time to time to get the weight on some of these. 3.2, I do a comparison with everything with the pyrite, 3.67. So the pyrite is a little bit heavier, probably with the steel, versus the G10, 3.2, fairly common and similar with that pyrite. I got a couple others, we might as well put them on there. The Towser K is 4.3, but it's definitely a beefier boy. And the mini grouper from Kaiser is 3.9, so it's close, but it is also a little bit larger. Reasons being we'll look at in a moment. But yeah, 3.2 on this Ventr by Ketuo. I dig it. Anybody think I should have got the black one? You like this orange one? I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks cool. Feeling pretty good about carrying it, testing it out. So like I said, I compare everything with CJRB Pyrite. I do have affiliate links with several of these companies, Kaiser and CJRB, if you use those down at the bottom there in the description. And make a purchase. It does help out the channel. I get a little kickback. Use that to buy some more knives for content for you. So you can see the pyrite is not quite full size, but it is a little bit bigger. The handle just barely beats it out with that huge lanyard hole. And the blade is a 1/4 inch longer or so on the pyrite, but the cutting surface, if you go, because this one does have this forward kind of choil choke up, the cutting surface is pretty much the same as the pyrites. All right. They do make a lot of different varieties of that pyrite. You should check it out. Oh, okay, so here we go. Pyrite, sorry, I forgot. Pyrite is a button lock. So it's a button actuated plunge lock. So when I push this button in, it plunges in there. There's a size difference. When that thinner section gets to where the blade is, the blade then can drop and spin or drop open or closed. But a button lock would basically be just that plunge, and you hit that, and that is controlling the locking mechanism on that pyrite. Okay, so I have the Kaiser Mini, or this isn't the Mini, this is just the Towser K. Sorry, I also have a Mini Towser K, and I love it. But the Towser K is a standard liner lock. So the liner lock has this piece inside there. You've got your scales covering the liner. If it was part of the scale, then it would be a frame lock. But since this is hidden within the scale, it's a liner lock. So you can see that liner shifts over like that. And when you move it over, then the blade can drop. Definitely much bigger, the Towser K. But the action on this liner lock, look at that, just drops shut. Flicks out nice. Feels really good in the hand. Probably one of my favorites. I love this knife. But so that's the liner lock. And like I was, getting to it, is those two locks together is what makes this Ketuo Ventr. It has both. There's your liner lock right inside there. And here's your button lock right here. Pretty cool. I dig it. What's everybody think? Who's got one of these? Do we like it? Dislike it? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on it. I'm excited, like I said, to carry it around and check it out. It is an interesting design, and I think locks like this are going to be a lot more common in the future. Yeah. The other one that I did have, this one here, the Kaiser Mini Grouper. The reason I had this is it is another one where the button actuates the liner lock, as you can see right there. You want to watch the video I did on this, up for it right there. Boom. But some other options out there with this style of lock. Comment below which ones you have, which ones I should check out next. I really am enjoying the grouper, but now I can add this Ketuo to my collection, play around with it, enjoy this lock style, kind of get familiar with it, come up with ideas about new locks. Let's talk about it. Stay sharp. I'll see you soon.